Hey there, and welcome. In honor of Valentine's Day, I've put together a collection of beautiful love poems to help you relax and feel the warmth of the holiday. Whether you're celebrating love today or just in need of a peaceful moment, I invite you to sit back, close your eyes, and let these heartfelt verses fill you with comfort. Let's begin. Love's Language by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. How does love speak? In the faint flush upon the telltale cheek, and in the pallor that succeeds it, by the quivering lid of an averted eye, the smile that proves the parent to a sigh. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? By the uneven heart throbs and the freak of bounding pulses that stand still and ache, while new emotions like strange barges make along vain channels their disturbing course, still as the dawn, and with the dawn's swift force. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? In the avoidance of that which we seek, the sudden silence and reserve when near, the eye that glistens with an unshed tear, the joy that seems the counterpart of fear, as the alarmed heart leaps in the breast, and knows and names and greets its godlike guest. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? In the proud spirit suddenly grown meek, the haughty heart grown humble in the tender and unnamed light that floods the world with splendor, in the resemblance which the fond eyes trace in all fair things to one beloved face, in the shy touch of hands that thrill and tremble, in looks and lips that can no more dissemble. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? In the wild words that uttered seem so weak, they shrink ashamed in silence in the fire. Glance strikes with glance, swift flashing higher and higher, like lightnings that precede the mighty storm, in the deep soulful stillness, in the warm, impassioned tide that sweeps through throbbing veins, between the shores of keen delights and pains, in the embrace where madness melts in bliss, and in the convulsive rapture of a kiss. Thus doth love speak. A Valentine by Edgar Allan Poe. For her this rhyme is penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Loeda, shall find her own sweet name that nestling lies upon the page, enwrapped from every reader. Search narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure divine, a talisman, an amulet that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables. Do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labor. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a saber. If one could merely comprehend the blot, enwritten upon the leaf, where now are peering eyes scintillating soul, there lie produce 3 eloquent words, oft uttered in the hearing of poets by poets, as the name is a poet's too. Its letters, although naturally lying, like the knight Pinto Mendez Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. The Garden of Love by William Blake. I went to the Garden of Love and saw what I never had seen. A chapel was built in the midst, where I used to play on the green, and the gates of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not writ over the door. So I turned to the Garden of Love, that so many sweet flowers bore, and I saw it was filled with graves, and tombstones where flowers should be, and priests in black gowns were walking their rounds, and binding with briars my joys and desires. A Birthday by Christina Rossetti. My heart is like a singing bird, whose nest is in a watered shoot. My heart is like an apple tree, whose boughs are bent with thick-set fruit. My heart is like a rainbow shell that paddles in the Halcyon Sea. My heart is gladder than all these, because my love is come to me. Raise me a dais of silk and down, hang it with vair and purple dyes, carve it in doves and pomegranates, and peacocks with 100 eyes. Work it in gold and silver grapes, in leaves and silver fleur-de-lis, because the birthday of my life is come, my love is come to me. The Good-Morrow by John Donne. I wonder, by my troth, what thou and I did till we loved. Were we not weaned till then, but sucked on country pleasures childishly? Or snorted we in the 7 sleepers' den? 'Twas so, but this all pleasures fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, 'twas but a dream of thee. And now, good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear, for love, all love of other sights controls, and makes one little room and everywhere. Let sea discoverers to new worlds have gone. Let maps to other worlds on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world, each hath one, and is one. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears, and true plain hearts do in the faces rest. Where can we find two better hemispheres, without sharp north, without declining west? Whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our two loves be one, or thou and I, love so alike, that none do slacken, none can die. Love Armed by Aphra Behn. Love in fantastic triumph sat, whilst bleeding hearts around him flowed, for whom fresh pains he did create, and strange tyrannic power he showed. From thy bright eyes he took his fire, which round about in sport he hurled, but 'twas from mine he took desire, enough to undo the amorous world. From me he took his sighs and tears, from thee his pride and cruelty, from me his languishments and fears, and every killing dart from thee. Thus thou and I the god have armed, and set him up a deity, but my poor heart alone is harmed, whilst thine the victor is, and free. To my dear and loving husband, by Anne Bradstreet. If ever two were one, then surely we. If ever man were loved by his wife, then thee. If ever wife was happy in a man, compare with me, ye women, if you can. I prize thy love more than whole mines of gold, or all the riches that the East doth hold. My love is such that rivers cannot quench, nor aught but love from thee give recompense. Thy love is such I can no way repay. The heavens reward thee manifold, I pray. Then while we live, in love let's so persevere, that when we live no more, we may live ever. The Night Has 1,000 Eyes by Francis William Bourdillon. The night has 1,000 eyes, and the day but one. Yet the light of the bright world dies with the dying sun. The mind has 1,000 eyes, and the heart but one. Yet the light of a whole life dies when love is done. O Mistress Mine by William Shakespeare. O Mistress Mine, where are you roaming? Oh, stay and hear your true love's coming, that can sing both high and low. Trip no further, pretty sweeting. Journeys end in lovers' meeting. Every wise man's son doth know. What is love? 'Tis not hereafter. Present mirth, half present laughter. What's to come is still unsure. In delay there lies no plenty. Then come kiss me, sweet and 20. Youth's a stuff will not endure. Absence, hear thou my protestation, by John Hoskins. Absence, Hear thou my protestation against thy strength, distance and length. Do what thou canst for alteration. For hearts of truest metal, absence doth join, and time doth settle. Who loves a mistress of such quality? He soon hath found affection's ground, beyond time, place, and all mortality. To hearts that cannot vary, absence is present, time doth tarry. My senses want their outward motions, which now within reason doth win, redoubled in her secret notions, like rich men that take pleasure in hiding more than handling treasure. By absence this good means I gain, that I can catch her, where none can watch her, in some close corner of my brain. There I embrace and kiss her, and so I both enjoy and miss her. The Garden by Andrew Marvell. How vainly men themselves amaze to win the palm, the oak, or bays, and their uncessant labors see, crowned from some single herb or tree, whose short and narrow-verged shade does prudently their tolls upbraid, while all flowers and all trees do close to weave the garlands of repose. Fair quiet have I found thee here, and innocence thy sister dear. Mistaken long I sought you then, in busy companies of men. Your sacred plants, if here below, only among the plants will grow. Society is all but rude to this delicious solitude. No white nor red was ever seen, so amorous as this lovely green. Fond lovers, cruel as their flame, cut in these trees their mistress's name. Little, alas, they know or heed how far these beauties hers exceed. Fair trees, where'er your barks I wound, no name shall but your own be found. When we have run our passion's heat, love hither makes his best retreat. The gods that mortal beauty chase, still in a tree did end their race. Apollo hunted Daphne so, only that she might laurel grow. And Pan did after Syrinx speed, not as a nymph, but for a reed. What wondrous life in this I led, ripe apples drop about my head. The luscious clusters of the vine upon my mouth do crush their wine. The nectarine and curious peach into my hands themselves do reach, stumbling on melons as I pass. Ensnared with flowers, I fell on grass. Meanwhile the mind, from pleasure less, withdraws into its happiness. The mind, that ocean where each kind does straight its own resemblance to find, yet it creates, transcending these, far other worlds and other seas. annihilating all that's made to a green thought in a green shade. Here at the fountain's sliding foot, or at some fruit tree's mossy root, casting the body's vest aside, my soul into the boughs does glide. There like a bird it sits and sings, then whets and combs its silver wings, until prepared for longer flight, waves in its plumes the various light. Such was that happy garden state, while man there walked without a mate, after a place so pure and sweet. What other help could yet be meet? But 'twas beyond a mortal's share to wander solitary there. Two paradises 'twere in one, to live in paradise alone. How well the skilful gardener drew of flowers and herbs this dial knew, where from above the milder sun does through a fragrant zodiac run, and as it works, the industrious bee computes its time as well as we. How could such sweet and wholesome hours be reckoned but with herbs and flowers? When You Are Old by W.B. Yeats. When you are old and gray and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book, and slowly read, and dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. I Am Not Yours by Sara Teasdale. I am not yours, not lost in you, not lost, although I long to be, lost as a candle lit at noon, lost as a snowflake in the sea. You love me, and I find you still, a spirit beautiful and bright. Yet I am I, who long to be, lost as a light is lost in light. Oh, plunge me deep in love, put out my senses, leave me deaf and blind, swept by the tempest of your love, a taper in a rushing wind. Beauty That Is Never Old by James Weldon Johnson. When buffeted and beaten by life's storms, when by the bitter cares of life oppressed, I want no surer haven than your arms, I want no sweeter heaven than your breast. When over my life's way there falls the blight of sunless days and nights of starless skies, enough for me the calm and steadfast light that softly shines within your loving eyes. The world for me, and all the world can hold, is circled by your arms. For me there lies, within the lights and shadows of your eyes, the only beauty that is never old. Thank you for sharing this Valentine's Day with me, as we've explored the timeless beauty of love through poetry. I hope these words have brought a sense of peace and affection to your heart. If you enjoyed this moment, don't forget to like and subscribe for more calming and heartfelt content. Wishing you love and tranquility today and always. Until next time.